that Chrisean might have set the whole thing up to protect her secret. This is a whole mess.
He said he was about to get a court-ordered DNA test to prove paternity when tragedy hit right in front of his own house. And just like that, Carl jumped in, throwing out accusations. She hinted that Chan might know more than she's saying, maybe even setting the whole thing up to keep her secret safe. This whole situation is a mess, so let's break it down. They kept going back and forth online, calling each other out for everyone to see. People couldn't help but wonder, was there something deeper going on, or were they just putting on a show? Take this situation. When Blueface proposed to Jaden, Carissa just had to be petty. She threw shade, saying, "Did this ninja really propose to the maid? Well, it's October now, better let everybody know you married the maid, just in case you end up in prison." Alright, Carissa, let's do it. Let's compare rings. Let's see what kind of ring that old booty got, and what kind of ring that new booty got. My wife's always gonna win. Carissa married a bum. After all those D's she took, she still settled for that tiny ring. Meanwhile, my wife? She's only ever had one D her whole life. She's sleeping next to a bum every night. Sad story. I could never respect that MY mom's ring. 1 carat with 5 stones around it. And Jaden's ring? Man, I won't even say. It's too embarrassing. The difference is clear. If you've got more than one baby daddy, that's just how it is. Life's like a box of these. Pick one and stick with it at this point. You gotta ask, does she even like her own son? Because what kind of mother-son duo is this? Bringing a baby into the mix was just a disaster waiting to happen. No surprise there. IT didn't take long for Blueface to start wilding out. He jumped on social media right away, saying the baby wasn't even his. But the craziest part? He straight up accused Chrisean of trying to pass off another man's child as his at that point. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Their back and forth had people shaking their heads because it was just same crazy energy as always, just with even more drama on top. And the more they put their business out there, the messier it got. At this point, nobody knew what was real anymore. But one thing was clear, calm and stable was never gonna be part of their story. Then Blueface jumped on Twitter and made it official. To answer y'all's question, yes, me and Rock are done. It's strictly business. I tried and clearly it wasn't giving. She's pregnant, but that ain't my baby. Rock been with at least 10 different dudes this past year. Until I see a DNA test, that's not a Blueface baby. From the moment the news dropped, Blueface shut it down fast. No hesitation, no second guessing, just straight up denial. He wasn't about to entertain the idea for even a second. Instead, he made one thing clear: Chrisean needed to take a DNA test too. To settle it once and for all, Chrisean finally agreed to take the DNA test. But not without the usual messy back and forth. Both of them had emotions and baggage all tied up in it. Then the results came in, and there was no denying it. Blueface was the father. The test confirmed it. The alleged father is not excluded as the biological father of the fetus. In other words, you're the father, babe. If anybody thought this would make him step up or feel even a little guilty, we were all dead wrong. Instead of changing for the better, Blueface got even worse. It didn't soften him at all. If anything, it made him more aggressive. He started pressuring Chrisean, pushing her to get rid of the baby. He made it clear that nothing was going to change, that he was still going to treat her the same way badly. I'm gonna be a cheater forever. I'm not even gonna hide it. You don't want to be stuck at home with a baby while I'm out doing my thing. A baby will trap us, and you don't want to be stuck with someone like me, especially knowing how I already feel about you. Blueface wasn't just pressuring Chrisean to end the pregnancy. He was pushing hard, trying to force her into it. But she wasn't having it. She stood her ground and refused, and instead of backing off, he completely lost it. He took to Twitter and went on a wild rant. Blueface didn't just say he didn't want the baby, he made sure everybody knew. He flat out announced that he had no plans to pay child support, like he wanted the whole world to see him washing his hands of the situation. He tweeted, "Whoever the judge is on my child support case, I told this girl I don't want the baby. She's still got time to get rid of it, but she's forcing it on me. So y'all better make the price right." She's trying to trap me. Don't let her fool you. She can still end all this. And all throughout Chrisean's pregnancy, Blueface made it crystal clear to everyone, especially Chrisean, that he wanted nothing to do with her or the baby. From the moment the news broke, he never budged. He kept pressuring her to end the pregnancy, showing zero support and taking no responsibility. His behavior was cold, distant, and straight up heartless. It was obvious he had no plans to step up as a father. But even with all that, Chrisean kept trying. She wanted him to accept the baby, doing everything she could to convince him, sometimes even in public. Chrisean kept trying to get Blueface to accept that he was the father, even though his actions said the complete opposite. But the moment the baby was born, everything flipped. Suddenly, he was acting concerned and protective, even threatening to take custody if things didn't go his way. It was like the baby's birth triggered something in him, and now he wanted to play the role of a caring father. But the real shock? Chrisean wasn't having it. Instead of giving the baby his last name, she left Blueface off the birth certificate completely. Chrisean made a bold move by naming the baby after herself, calling the child Chrisean Malone Jr. Not only did she leave Blueface off the birth certificate, but she didn't even give the baby his last name. That decision had people confused. Throughout her entire pregnancy, she had been loud and clear about Blueface being the father. She did everything she could to convince him and the world that the baby was his. But now, to leave him out in such a public and official way? Accepting the role of fatherhood, however, Chan later explained that by that time the baby was born, she and Blueface had broken up, which likely played a huge role in her decision to leave him off the birth certificate a week after Khan gave birth. It seemed like she and Blueface had worked things out. Somehow they appeared to be back on a solid ground, and everything seemed to be going smoothly. Blueface even flew out to Baltimore to visit her and the baby, and the pictures they share painted a picture of a happy reunited family. Blueface spent time bonding with the baby, looking like a proud father in their one-on-one moments. At that point, it would have made sense for Chrisean to add his name to the birth certificate. They were back together, things seemed to be getting better, and he was showing up, spending time with the baby like a father should. If they were really back on good terms, fans expected Chrisean to take that final step and put Blueface's name on the birth certificate. But she didn't, and that didn't sit right with a lot of people. If everything was all good, why not make it official? It seemed like the obvious next move, yet she refused, leaving everyone wondering why. But in true Blueface fashion, the peace didn't last long. Chrisean accused him of trying to get back at her for not giving the baby his last name. She felt like he was. Chrisean felt like Blueface was trying to use their child to get back at her for leaving his name off the birth certificate. She put him on blast, saying, "You're calling me unfit just because he's not a Jonathan Jr., but he's a Chrisean Jr., just admit it. You want to take my baby just because I gave him my name. I'm stuck dealing with a manipulator who thinks I'm slow or dumb. And please, Blue, worry more about your own probation than trying to use my baby as leverage. I have documentation, Jonathan Porter." At this point, people were left confused all over again. People started questioning why Chrisean still hadn't put Blueface on the birth certificate. She had agreed to a DNA test while pregnant, so why not make it official now that the baby was here? It seemed like the natural next step, but something felt off. Rumors began spreading. Had she faked the DNA test? Was that why she was avoiding adding his name? Then, just when things couldn't get any messier, her ex, Ronnie, came forward, claiming he was the real father. Ronnie didn't stop there. He went on to make a video, doubling down on his claims. "I got concrete evidence right here for y'all," he said. "All I want is for people to be held accountable so this little one can have the life he deserves, with the father he deserves." Meanwhile, Chrisean only added to the speculation when she liked a post suggesting Ronnie was actually the baby's dad. And to make things even messier, Ronnie confirmed that he and Chrisean had been together around the time she got pregnant. Ronnie didn't hold back, saying Chrisean needed someone to hold her accountable and make sure Junior was getting the proper care. At the end of the day, he deserves a real father figure. Blueface, on the other hand, took this as confirmation that something wasn't right. He jumped on Twitter, airing out his suspicions. "I knew something was off," he wrote. I don't think that's my baby. That DNA test looked weird, seemed fake. I had no control over it. Blueface wasn't holding back. He pointed out that the guy claiming to be the father lived in Baltimore, just like the baby. I think they look alike more than me. What do y'all think? He asked his followers. Then, he doubled down. As far as I'm concerned, I got one baby mama and 2 kids until further notice. I'm free. Best news I got all year, I'm free. That's when he started connecting the dots. He realized that when Chrisean handed him the DNA test, the envelope was already open. Blueface then dropped a bombshell. He secretly did his own DNA test, and according to him, the results came back negative. Tell me why I swabbed the baby on the low. DNA test just came in, and I'm not the father. It's a bittersweet feeling, cause I was starting to come around to it. But honestly, this is for the best. Thank you, Jesus. With that, all eyes turned to Ronnie. Rumors started spreading that the baby might have a medical condition, but Chrisean was reportedly refusing to get help because she didn't want the truth to come out. If that was true, it only made the situation even messier. Then, everything took a tragic turn. Reports came out that Ronnie had been shot right outside his home. Despite efforts to save him, he didn't make it to the hospital in time. It was a heartbreaking loss, especially since he had been fighting so hard to be part of the baby's life. Ronnie was just 24, with his whole life ahead of him. His death is still a mystery, and while the full details haven't come out yet, the internet is already buzzing with theories. Some people believe he was targeted because he was about to expose Chrisean, maybe revealing the real truth about the baby and all the drama that followed. And if that wasn't crazy enough, Blueface's mom has been dropping hints that Chrisean might have had something to do with it. Carissa has never held back when it comes to Chrisean, and she's not stopping now. She's been going off on her lately, making it crystal clear that she never wanted her to have a baby with Blueface. We gotta be real, Carissa said. She had a baby with a man who already had a family. He can't just show up here and play daddy like it's all good. That would mess up his situation. Carissa isn't holding back at all. She's coming for Chrisean with serious accusations. She's claiming Chrisean drank while she was pregnant and isn't taking the baby to doctor appointments. And she's not just saying it quietly, she's putting it all out there for everyone to hear, like she's on a mission to make sure people know. I'm struggling too, mentally, from everything I'm seeing, Carissa said. So yeah, I'm reacting. I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm feeling a lot of things. You all just stood there and did nothing because you were scared. Scared because she controlled the money, Carissa said, her frustration clear. But me? I wouldn't have cared about that money. I would have stepped in, taken her home, and made sure she got the help she needed during her pregnancy. At least then, she wouldn't have to live with regret for the rest of her life. During my pregnancy, I made sure to take my vitamins every day, even when they made me feel sick. I never missed a doctor's appointment because I wanted to do everything right, but after Ronnie's tragic death, Carissa's tone changed. She wrote, "I don't even have the words. My heart goes out to his mother and family. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm actually grateful my son is in jail. At least he's far away from all of this mess."